Hi there and welcome back or welcome to my channel if this is your first time here. My name is Amy and I have a somewhat unhealthy obsession with Formula 1. In today's video we're back with the internet's most low budget talk show. It's Late Night Amy. And in today's episode we're going to be discussing something that people have asked me to talk about, and of course I watched it, so of course I'm here to talk about it. It's NASCAR Full Speed. That's what it's called, right? NASCAR Full Speed? I told you the show was low budget. NASCAR Full Speed. Netflix's latest sporting show. If you're expecting a well-structured review, again, this is not it. Something well-informed, again, not it. Do I watch NASCAR? No. I wish I could. I wish I could say I was a NASCAR girly. But unfortunately, if I did, then that would just be too many motorsports going on in my brain. I am going to start watching it though. I am going to start watching it. I'm going to go into the reasons as to why I'm going to start watching it later. Or was it due to this show? Maybe. Did it have some sort of contributing factor again? Maybe. That's where you have to wait and hang around and see. But yeah, I already watch F1, I watch Supercars, I watch F2, I watch WEC occasionally, I tune into MotoGP again occasionally. It's like, if I add too many more, then I'm just not going to have a life outside of motorsport. And some people see that as a problem. Personally, I don't. But like, you know, people like to see me occasionally. Anyway, so this is a review from an outsider's perspective. As somebody who has never watched a NASCAR race in her life, I've seen clips. Obviously, you guys have seen me react to clips on this channel, but a full race, no. And as somebody from an outsider's perspective, this playoff format still confuses me. I don't know why you guys need to just add a playoff format. It works for football. Do you guys have it in basketball? You probably have it in basketball, but like, why do we need it for motorsport? Again, confuses me, because like, you could be like absolutely smashing it, right? And then you have a few bad races, but because it's in the playoffs, that's it. Like, you don't win the championship? Like, hello? And also, what happens if somebody outside of those drivers who makes it to the playoffs wins the race? Because everybody's still racing. Like, what happens when one of them win? Like, make it make sense in my brain, please. Anyway, moving on. I do think this show did a relatively good job of explaining the playoffs, because obviously it only covered the playoffs and not the entire NASCAR season. So I think it did a relatively good job at that. There was just a few little details that it kind of left out that I was like, what happens in that situation? But obviously that situation didn't happen, so they didn't really need to cover it, but like, what if it did? You know? So if somebody would kindly further explain it to me in the comments, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Moving on. Obviously, the show follows its characters, right? Every show has its characters, and even though this is a documentary, we are still following people. It is still there for our entertainment purposes, still there for the drama, not as much as Drive to Survive, but still there for the drama. So there are a few people who we focus on, and honestly, they all ruffle my feathers a little bit, okay? Here's my issue. Everybody in the show has some sort of fucking chip on their shoulder. Everybody thinks they're this like big, tough, scary underdog villain. Everybody's out to get me, guys, okay? I'm the bad guy. And they're actually all the sweetest people. Well, not all of them, okay? Some of them are not, but like most of them are like the sweetest dudes, and I'm like, why? You're just like this family man, why do you have to be like, and everybody here hates me, I'm the villain? Is it like an American thing where you just have to have a chip on your shoulder and think that everybody hates you? Is it that? I don't know. Anyway, there were a few standout characters, mainly because I recognized a few of them, actually. Look at me go. I knew who Hamlin was. I was surprised they didn't cover Kyle Busch, but they didn't. But I knew who Hamlin was, and I knew that he owned the other team. And I knew Bubba Wallace as well, because Netflix has already done a separate documentary on him. So I knew those two, okay? But the third guy, who I really liked, and again, tell me if I shouldn't like him, but I like the watermelon guy. I don't remember what his name was, but I liked the fact that he smashed watermelons, and he seemed kind of chill. And also, he drives for Trackhouse, which I'm pretty sure is the same team that Shane is going to be driving for, so therefore, Shane Van Gisbergen is going to be driving some races for. So therefore, I automatically have to support him, otherwise, yeah. But I feel like if I do start watching NASCAR, I'm not going to have like specific drivers I support as heavily as other motorsports. I don't know, that's just the vibe I get. I should really find out what this guy's name is. Ross! It was Ross, okay. Yeah, Ross seemed kind of cool. Again, I like the whole watermelon fact. Obviously, my next talking point is the show's obviously inspired by Drive to Survive. No shit, basically. Netflix has come out with so many more like sporting documentaries since Drive to Survive. Personally, I prefer Drive to Survive to this, but that's just already because I like F1, you know what I mean? I will say this one is significantly less dramatized, I'm assuming. Again, I don't know the full season, I don't know the full story, but it seems a lot less dramatized other than everybody thinking like they're this big villain when they're not. It does follow less people, which I like in some ways. It makes it a lot easier to follow as a whole, and you're not like jumping around between races like you are in Drive to Survive. Like, it's a lot easier to follow. Again, probably because they didn't cover the whole season. That's also one of my complaints that I have, is that they didn't cover the whole season. So like, yeah. Also, compared to Drive to Survive, there was more, like, I feel like there are a lot of different characters, you know what I mean? Like, Drive to Survive, all the drivers there, there's like young, upcoming people, like, young, fit, rah. And a lot of the guys in NASCAR, again, because it's a different sport, they're different characters. A lot of them like family guys, and that was pretty like interesting to see how they balanced family life with racing. And that's a side you didn't really see. And, like, you did see that side, but like you didn't see it to that extent. Because a lot of the drivers there don't have kids, but they do in NASCAR, which is pretty cool. Okay. Now let's get into my pros and cons. What I liked, what I disliked. What I liked. The behind the scenes, showing them as people. I like it. Them as athletes. I don't think we appreciate how, like, that they are athletes. Again, compared to F1 guys. F1 guys, I feel like everybody talks about them as athletes, but you don't see that as much for the NASCAR guys, which I think you should. Because it is still a pretty rough sport, okay? Like, I couldn't do it. I can face those G-forces, like, but we don't really talk about it because they don't look as physically fit as the young 20-year-olds in Formula 1 and other motorsports. That's just a fact, come at me, but they are still athletes. And overall, I do feel like it was a pretty good introduction to them as people and to the sport. And I did like the structure, again, easier to follow than Drive to Survive. What I didn't like, which is kind of contradictory, was the fact that it was only the playoffs. I would like to see a longer season, honestly. Like, 5 episodes felt really short compared to what they've given other sports. Like, 5 episodes is really short. And I did like how they went, like, race by race was, like, episode by episode. And they obviously couldn't do that for the whole season, so they would have to change the structure up a bit. Because doesn't NASCAR have, like, 30-something races or something, like, bloody ridiculous? Okay, guys, so we're going proper low budget now, because guess whose camera just died on her? Even though she charged it for, like, 3 hours before this, and it said it was fully charged. Mind it, okay? So I got a bone to pick with you, freaking Canon. Anyway, what are we up to? Yeah, the fact that it only showed the playoffs. So the structure would have to change if they did a future series and they wanted to include all the races, because I think that would also be really interesting. Or maybe they sort of like did like a few races that were like the big ones. If they did like, is Daytona 500 included in the actual season? I don't know. If you include some like the really big ones, and then maybe if something like really interesting happened, you include that. Like, just have a few episodes dedicated to the general season and then have the playoffs again, because clearly that is a big part of the sport that I just don't understand, okay? And again, something that is also going to be contradictory about what I didn't like, is that we didn't meet many drivers. We met a good, I think, 6 or so that we focused on. But that isn't even all of the guys who made it to the playoffs. Like, there were so many characters in NASCAR, I feel, and so many drivers that, like, pop in and out. Kind of disappointed I didn't get to see Shane. What's my English there? I'm kind of disappointed I didn't get to see Shane. But yeah, that does make sense because he wasn't even a full-time driver, just at the one race. But I was like, give you a little shout out because he did so well. Maybe we'll see him in the next season. I want to assume there's a next season, because there should be a next season. I feel like even Drive to Survive 6 seasons. I don't know how many seasons the golf show has. Like, who's watching the golf show? Not me. But yeah, so hopefully next season we're gonna meet more of the drivers. Maybe if I actually watch it, I'll get to know them better. But again, I'm surprised they didn't mention like Kyle Busch like once. Like, I thought he was kind of like the big bad guy. Like, the actual bad guy was Kyle Busch. Anyway. Oh, and also I'm so happy that they actually covered that whole like wall riding thing. I forget who it was, because whoever who did it was kind of an icon, and I will continuously stand by that. Yeah, I know the reason why I like the watermelon guy, because he was the wall riding guy. See, he's a cool dude. I like him. Okay. Yeah. So, overall, did this show convince me to watch NASCAR? No. But I will still watch some of the races for Shane, and at least now I know what's going on, and if it's on TV, I will turn it on. Like, the Daytona 500 was on today. I tuned in and watched a bit of that. Not that much, because I watched Bathurst 12 hour like 2 days ago, and I have like so much F1 coming up, but like I did watch some of it, which is more than I watched in the past. And I know now that I have people to root for, people that I know, again, I'm more likely to actually watch it, which is cool. But overall, I think I am going to assume that if you are a NASCAR fan, you have already watched it. And if you haven't watched it, I don't know what you're doing. You should just go watch it. Like, you like the sport, go watch the show. If you are another motorsport fan, go watch the show, dude, okay? Like, you might fall in love with it. You might not. But anyway, it's good to learn about. And general sporting fan, like documentaries, go watch it. Could really find something that you love. And I really do think that people like the Drive to Survive will fall in love with NASCAR through the show. I genuinely think that. Even if it is confusing to start with. But it might be less confusing for Americans because you already know like playoff formats and stuff. I'm just not American, clearly. Anyway, that was my thoughts on the NASCAR Full Speed show. Let me know down below what you guys thought of it. Have you watched it yet? I'm going to assume you've watched it. About you watching my review on it. What did you think? Do you think we'll get a season 2? Most importantly, most importantly, should I support Watermelon Guy? Okay. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you like it, and press that red button to subscribe for more motorsport and F1 and pop culture related content. And I'll see you all in the next one. Okay, ladies.